Alright. Hello, Damian. For my entrepreneurship class, I was asked to interview 5 people in order to get a better understanding of an opportunity that I constructed. What my opportunity is the construction of houses that are more friendly to the ecosystem in order to help preserve and sustain our environment. I'd like to first start off by having you say some information about yourself. Information like as in what school you currently go to, if you are in school, what your major is, what year you're in, where you originally came from, and any additional information you could tell me about yourself, like your interests or hobbies, so I can be able to analyze your characteristics in order to get an understanding of your answers to my upcoming questions based on your geographic and demographic standpoint. So, your school.
Okay, I'm currently an undergraduate student at University of Florida in public relations major. I'm 22 years old and I was born in Portugal, Porto, and then I lived for 3 years in Spain and then moved to Mexico to live another 3 years there. And currently I've been here in the United States for another 5 years.
Alright, and also your interests and hobbies.
And my interest in hobbies actually, I actually really pretty fanatic of football, American football, and golf. So I know they're pretty different sports, but I really like both of them. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, now that we know a little bit of information on where you are coming from, I would then like to proceed on asking you a few questions in order to get a hypothesis that I constructed. I'm doing this because I'd like to get your perspective on the who's, what's, and why's, along with the perspective of 4 others, which I actually just done one recently, but so I can get more of a diverse and broad understanding of information pertaining to my business opportunity. Alright, the first question I would like to ask you deals with the who's. Do you feel like there is a need for the construction of eco-friendly houses, and also, do you feel like others would also have the need for this? If yes, or if no, please explain why you view it that way.
I'd say yes, because it's pretty important to support environment. Where I come from is that we really like to be this green friendly. In one way, we are kind of pretty liberals where I'm from.
Yeah.
So
In Portugal?
in
or-
Portugal,
Okay.
in Portugal, and in Spain too. And Mexico is a pretty mix of people. You know, they're pretty conservative in the right side. It's kind of different from the United States. But I think is what I see some of the difference from when this Europe and this side of America is that it doesn't matter what you do, or in this case, they building the ecology houses or eco-friendly is what is cheaper or what
Yeah.
is better for them to
what they can afford.
or what they can afford, you know. So,
Yeah, and also while I asked you that, like how would you say the houses like in the United States are as comparison to like houses in like Portugal or Spain or in Mexico?
actually, they're pretty different. I know that here they use a lot of wood
really?
material, you know, and in Europe and actually in Mexico too, they do a lot of concrete.
Concrete?
Concrete. So when we look at eco-friendly, I think that Portugal they decided to do concrete because they don't want it to damage the trees or the environment, you know. So but it takes longer. So what I think why United States decided to use wood is because it's faster and cheaper
Yeah,
to build
it's
houses
like-
with wood material, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for them. And like also, like energy wise, like do you feel like the houses in the United States are using like a lot more energy as comparison to like energy as in like using electricity or something along those lines?
I think it's more. I would say that we more focus more on the education of the people, because I know that a lot of people focus so much on of the material. Because this is not the first time that I hear this, you know. But I think there is nothing to do with the material if there is wood or concrete. I think it's more about how people use the energy. Or how
Yeah,
they
it's
manage
like the people themselves.
the people themselves, because I compare so much when I do my how much I pay for energy here in my apartment and the one that I used and the one that I pay when I was in Spain.
Yeah.
So if there's like, I know the cost is different.
Yeah, but
But
like things like the running of water,
the running water,
or
the
like
gas.
leaving like outlets plugged in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty important to people.
Yeah. Okay. For my next set of questions, it deals with the what's of my hypothesis and opportunity. And for my first question in this area, do you think that current houses are really that harmful to the environment? And please explain.
I, s- uh, I, I think like the houses that they build now is because they use wood and other materials that affect the environment. I think it's pretty damaging. I'm not pretty expert on the field, but I just know that like the material that they use here, it really affects the trees. And I know that the United States is one of the countries that they use a lot of this of wood when it comes to building houses, and more in rural areas. But I think that it's kind of it affects him just a little bit. I think there are other facts
Yeah.
and other factors,
Like the cars.
the cars or the cities or other things. But I will not like blame too much on the houses. you
Yeah,
know?
just the houses themselves.
Yeah.
But they do have like a little bit of a factor in it.
Yeah.
And the next question, do you feel like eco-friendly houses could be an extreme benefit to our environment or just a slight one? Kind of like deals with the last question.
I think anything that can help the environment is pretty good. You know.
Yeah,
It,
it's like a hole or something along those lines.
Exactly. Anything that can becomes in more like we focus more on the to become more sustainable. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that we can build houses when they can create their own energy or produce their own energy. I'm sorry. It will be like cheaper, and it will be more friendly for the environment. So I think it's I don't know. I think this will be really helpful for. I think it's a
Yeah.
win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, yeah, like no matter what, like a good thing is gonna come from this.
Yeah, probably at the beginning gonna be expensive to purchase materials or actually products that they can help your houses for, like for example these like friendly like what they're using a lot of in Sweden is that they use a lot of solar panels. They're pretty expensive, but in the long run they're gonna turn out that it's gonna be really cheap for the people living in the house, you know, because they produce their own energy. The only thing that they need, the only thing that they have to pay is for the maintenance of the panels, you know.
Yeah.
So I think in the long run it's gonna be really beneficial.
Yeah. And like I also view it as like a stepping stone too. It's like if like they're doing one thing like to help preserve the environment, then also like other things will come along. So maybe someone like makes the houses, like creates houses that are more eco-friendly, and then like it's like a gradual like stepping stone, and like other things will come with it, like cars or like.
Yeah, I think is that if we invest on the right things, you know, like on research about new materials that they don't have to be really expensive, but at the same time they are really environmental friendly. They can be really a win-win for the government and for people, you know, because it will be faster to build houses, and it's gonna be really environmental friendly, and it's gonna be cheaper for the people that are living in it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a really good idea. People like, not just only people, but the actually I don't know how you call it in English, but these companies that they build houses, I don't know how you call that.
Like just the company in general.
The companies in general,
Yeah,
they try to, instead of investing so much on wood or investing or so much on, because something that I noticed here in the United States is like they build the houses somewhere, and I see all these big trucks that they transfer with these huge
and
houses,
like,
and they just
like,
place it on the
yeah.
place, you know. So I mean, I don't know how much you have to pay for it, but I'm pretty sure that there is gonna be probably another ways to build houses, and you have to look other countries, you know, what they do. Like for example, in Europe, you know, in Europe they're pretty they really support the environment. So and I know for sure that it's not really expensive in building houses. Depends the country and the city, but when it comes to building or material, they actually there are now houses that they're building with plastic, and it's pretty cheap, and they look pretty nice.
I haven't actually heard of that.
Yeah.
All right. For my next question, lastly, I like to proceed with some of the questions that deal with the whys. So, why do you think houses were produced and still are produced this way, like as in the current way that they're being created, and not originally created with the thought of having it as energy preserving as possible?
Because again, is what is more beneficial for these companies. You know, if it's faster,
Yeah, and
yeah,
cheaper.
and cheaper, they're gonna do it that way. Doesn't matter how great is the other ways. You
Yeah,
know,
or
as
like
long as it's more
everything.
beneficial for them.
Yeah, or like everything around it that's affected. Like they don't like.
Exactly, they
see
don't
them.
really care.
Yeah, and for my last question, do you blame the people for this problem, or do you blame the people for the construction of houses that are not as energy preserving and eco-friendly, or do you blame the government? Or I mean, you can also blame something else or someone else, and then just please tell me why, like who you blame for this.
I will not blame someone in specific because we all have a blame on it. You know,
Yeah.
that's one of our problems in society. We like to just blame the government for everything. You know,
Yeah, like
Or
a blame game.
the blame game. But at the same time, it's just we all are because we accept to purchase these houses, and also from the other perspective that is these companies, they decided to use those materials to build houses. You know,
Yeah.
and the government that they allow people to build these houses. You know, so I mean, I
Yeah,
think
so like everyone has like a part in this.
exactly, and part of this, and I think we should more educate people about this.
Yeah.
You know,
So they know what they're
to introduce them a
buying.
little bit more to the field. You know, because
Yeah.
the lack of information is a problem.
Yeah,
They don't really
it
know.
definitely is. It's an extreme problem,
It's a problem. Yeah.
especially in like countries that or places that are like less educated or like what you
Exactly.
said, they don't really know.
They don't really know, and it's hard. You know, you cannot blame them if they don't know.
Yeah.
So we have to first inform them.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, Damian. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin. Always happy to be here.
Have a nice day.